Well, hello and welcome. So today is the 23rd. I'm sorry, the 21st. Tomorrow's Monday. That'll be the 22nd of January. So this is the update for Draw 5. So as you can see, we are going through our iron as quickly as humanly possible. I'm going to take you through some photos. So these are some of our cross braces. We're booming all of the third floor iron. We've set as many of the posts as we can by hand, but you'll see, these plates that we have to fab out, weld, set, and then of course core in are all going in. You can see the iron here. We've been working late into the night. Here's that entry. They have the stair coming down off here. All of that's been welded. This here, you can see them welding in place. All of this fab, what we do is we put the posts in place, then stack the iron, and then weld it. Weld it in place, sometimes up 20 feet on a ladder. Here you can see them tagging this piece of iron. That's one of the larger pieces, 1453. Here's it earlier in the day when we boomed in, got the posts, set them, cored those in, and then of course stack the iron on top. This is where the new pantry's going, right underneath the stair that goes up to the next level. You can see all the slots cut out here. That's for the joists, which stack right on top of the studs perfectly, so they don't go anywhere. All of this has been where we're building it as if it was a $10 million home, not a $5 million home. Here's the last piece of iron that came from Myers, luckily just in time. We had our boom out. We were ready for it, and it came in one of our last posts. They sent a post, even Myers screwed up an order a little bit. They sent us a 1/4 inch post, which wasn't quite sufficient for the loads. Here you can see Ethan, that's our welder. He's an incredible welder. He's been doing a great job, but his machine burned out at about 6 p.m. on Friday night, the 19th. It started throwing sparks and blew up. So we have our secondary in place. He's also was working all weekend to find another welder or another welding rig. You can see that top plate. This is him anticipating that next set, which came across the top. I had to share with you why I took Sunday today and went and skied a couple runs. It was a powder day. Anyways, I thought you'd also enjoy this. Developer gets extension to avoid fees. It's 17 months to do a false front, and he still can't get it. Hasn't gotten it done. This is the boom truck or the crane. Alan's a great guy. These guys getting all prepped and ready to set all that iron the other day. This is us setting one of the posts. We get it set in place, then we mark it out, drill it out, and then of course core out the concrete so that everything is secure. Here you can see where we notched out to get on top of our I-beam that is a floor below so that he could weld around it. Here you can see us getting prepped and ready for this big post that goes in the stair. Here it's setting, so we have to literally balance it out in the middle of nowhere. This is 10 feet off the ground and then another 9 feet off the ground. Balancing it, then getting a ladder out there and tag weld it. You have to make sure these are all plumb both ways. So plumb east-west, plumb north-south. Then we shoot our elevations in once we have them tagged, just to confirm that we're within that 1/16 or so of an inch. This one actually is within a 1/16 of an inch from this side to the other side. You can see Juan and Jose and the guys here running this faux wall here because we had that ledger that we had to build around for that step so that we have that look, that smooth wall look. Here's a nice pano I did for you so you can really get the scope of what we're doing here. This is that main room. This is a 40-foot span from here to there, and that's the kitchen area. Here's the entrance, and then this walks out onto the patio. So just a beautiful big span. It's 9 foot 3 inches from here to there. So you have these big, big ceilings, real vaulted and lofty, so real airy. And then of course we'll have that big walkout. There's an 8-foot slider going here with 2 4-foot windows on each side. We have that main column coming in here. This beam actually has a 3-inch piece that goes on so that we could set it. Then we put a 3-inch piece and then weld that to the beam. It's already mounted on this side with a bracket with a weld, mounted over here with the weld. Here's booming the iron. This is about 3,900 pounds. As you can see, he's getting up and over the trees. He goes 120 feet because Christine, the designer, didn't want any of these trees damaged. We have a little bit of damage, but not much. We did a good job keeping those whole for her. Here's beaming one of the columns, one of the posts. They're 22 feet, so it's a lot of weight. It's just under 1,000 pounds. We beam those into place, then core, set, and weld. Core, set, and weld. This is the big beam going into place. It's mounted on a 5x5. It's on the other side of this wall. You can't see it. This wall was sheeted for shear. You have so much weight on this whole home that the sway to each side, we have all these shear walls throughout, and then of course all these columns that go all the way down to the first floor and into the footers for shear. So this home is really built to last. Just a beautiful design. Really enjoy building it. But here you can see perfectly centered, plumbed both ways, tagged weld, and then of course just the unbelievable vista out and about. This is just a shot when we're cleaning up. These guys get ready to tag that, but this was clean up the end of Friday. That was that night, setting that post, making sure we're ready for Saturday. But then, of course, we got snowed out, and the welder, his rig literally blew up. Sparks were flying out of the exhaust. But we have our secondary welder and our primary, this gentleman here, Ethan, showing up again tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Again, with the last piece of iron from Myers, they've been really reliable, great company. Here you can see these posts. Those are obviously drilled into the concrete, like I was saying before. Nice long post going into the stairwell. Just another shot of that. You can see actually his welder here. He tags on, so that is his ground, and then he's welding on the other side over there. Guiding them in. It's a little tricky because you're guiding from one side of the project to the other. So as you can see, he's up here giving hand signals, Matt, to the driver, the operator, and then they're booming them right over those trees. Just another shot on the scale, booming over those trees there. Nice shot of one of the columns in the footer, mounted perfectly as it should be. You can see his grounding rod. But all of this is being done in the field. It's going great. These guys are hard workers. We're showing up literally at dawn and working into the dusk. Jose there did a great job on the walls on Friday. You can see it. Here's a nice shot of that double wall I was telling you about. And that floats out everything, so it's a nice smooth surface. Don't have any hitches. You can see the blocking in here, all of that support. There's another one of the posts that's built into the corner. Posts everywhere through here. Booming up another piece of iron. Here, another post goes down almost to the first floor. This is on the stem wall. And then, of course, bolted down and plumb stick there, making sure it's plumb both ways. Putting in the wood framing for the cantilever extension on the upper third floor master, which has that cantilever deck coming out. And that should be then the beautiful sunsets. Almost every night we have a sunset like this. Just the alpenglow and the orange. You literally want to work late just to experience it. Here we have our third floor pack. It's all on site. These are all of our LVLs, micros, everything since it's being poured on top. Booming in another one of our columns. You can see here these guys bringing up wood for that faux wall. Everything's supported, braced, plumbed up. You can see the notches out again there for the joists. Everything just perfect. Coming up and over, put it into place, and then tag weld it. Just a couple nice shots there. You can see the welder and his machine, his rig. He's prepping down there. This is right after the day he's pulling out his crane. He parked it there overnight. And then, of course, our work trailer. Everybody's getting ready to take off. The welder and I have been staying late. Everybody else leaving around 5:30 or so. But there he is, tagging it up, making sure everything's good, making sure everything's good. Another column, good, plumb and level, and that's it. So that's your update here, January 21st. Things moving right along. We're setting third floor. Should be rolled out with third floor Tuesday or Wednesday this week, and shooting for the roof by the weekend. Done with rough framing by the end of January. Hope you've enjoyed this update. We'll see you on the next one.